come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past. And here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Explore the Mouse Podcast, a podcast by Disney lovers for Disney lovers. Come join us as we dive into the wonderful world of Disney. Here is your host, Eric Gagakis.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Explore the Mouse Podcast. And as Donald said, I'm your host, Eric Legaitis, along with my really beautiful, lovely wife, Casey.
Oh, I got a really beautiful today.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
We got to switch it up a little bit.
Wow.
So this is episode 7. We are continuing our journey through the magical kingdom of Disney World.
I think this is it for Magic Kingdom.
No, we have Tomorrowland.
Oh, duh.
Yeah, we have Tomorrowland to finish up. So,
sorry.
But no, yeah. So we're in Fantasyland. So we're almost there. We are almost there. 2 more episodes, and then we get to move on to bigger and more beautiful things. Now, if you guys head over to explorethemouse.com, I actually added a page to the website that actually logs, not logs, but it shows you a calendar of our upcoming episodes.
Yeah, through the end of this year.
Yep. So we have everything set all the way through. Actually, New Year's Eve. I think it's December 31st is the last episode of the year. So we are very, very excited about that. And you guys can go and check out what coming episodes or what episodes are coming up, and kind of tell us what you think and what you want to hear.
Yeah,
so,
we start to move a little out of the parks and talk about some other things as well. So,
which I'm really excited about. So head over to explorethemouse.com and check that out. And thank you for everyone on social media, too, because you guys have been awesome and kind of helping us grow and helping us get some exposure.
Every share and every listen. I mean, it truly helps us. So we thank you guys.
Yeah, we've had some really, really good feedback from people on social media, which we're really excited about. Also kind of built some, I guess you could say, some branding relationships with some people. So some cool stuff is happening. But for now, we're going to actually talk about the Fantasyland.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the Fantasyland.
Okay.
But yeah, so as everyone knows, Fantasyland is just an amazing place. It is probably one of our favorite places to really hang out, honestly. And I know that we do say that a lot.
I was going to say, didn't we just discuss last week that all we say is, that's my favorite, that's our favorite?
It is, but I think Fantasyland truly is one of my favorite hangouts inside the Magic Kingdom. And the only reason why, for me personally, is that I absolutely love classic Disney movies.
Yeah, I mean, this is when you think of Disney, or when someone who doesn't visit Disney often, when they think of Disney, they think of the princesses and the princes. Mm-hmm. And I think they just kind of picture Fantasyland because of the old classic movies.
Yeah.
So Fantasyland to me is like the epitome of the park. You know, if you're looking at it from just not always knowing. So,
and I mean, you look into look at as soon as you walk into the park, what is the very first thing you see when you hit Main Street is Cinderella's castle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Cinderella's castle is not only the center of Disney World itself. Well, actually, technically not the true center, but it is the centerpiece of Disney World. But It's also the main part of Fantasyland.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of that storybook, princes.
It is very magical feeling.
Very magical. So we're just going to kind of take a walk through the Magic Kingdom, and we're going to talk about some of our favorite things, and we're going to go kind of tell you about some of the favorite food, too, because, again,
some of our favorite food is in Fantasyland.
And actually, even with this recent last trip, they had a dessert that I was not too sure of that we tried at first I did not like, and it grew on me a little bit. So
yeah, we'll get there when we get there, because I didn't love it. We'll get there when we get there.
Well, I did. Well, so as we're entering Fantasyland from Liberty Square, so pretty much right around the entrance to where Haunted Mansion is where you're going to actually enter Fantasyland. And if you need a guide to kind of help you figure it out, look for Rapunzel's Castle or Rapunzel's Tower.
Yes.
So Rapunzel's Tower is going to be like your main entrance. And the Rapunzel Tower is your also first bathroom break.
Yeah.
So if you're coming into that area. Now, cool, actually, fun fact history about Rapunzel's Tower is...
it's not that old.
It's not that old. And actually, before Rapunzel's Tower was built, the actual station for the Skyway system that used to go between Tomorrowland and Fantasyland, I almost called it the Skyliner, but the Skyliner is the new one. But the Skyway, which is the original Sky system, Rapunzel's Tower used to be the Fantasyland station.
Huh.
Yeah, so
I did not know that.
Yep. So they replaced that with Rapunzel's Tower and the bathrooms. So
cool.
And
that's about it.
Yeah, that's really about it.
I'm still waiting. Like, I'm telling you, Imagineers, get on this. Like, if you put a little gift cart there and call it Pascal's Gifts, why are we not doing this?
Well, we talked about it, and
because I go to the bathrooms there constantly, and I'm like looking for something. Mm-hmm. Give me a churro card. Give me something.
We talked about, like, what if they sold frying pans? They sold, like...
No, not we. You talked about.
Okay, I did. I thought it'd be awesome if they sold, like, Tangled, like, frying pans.
I just don't think we need an entire frying pan cart.
Yes, you do. Well, anyways, so that's pretty much the start of it.
Hit me up, 'cause I'd like to get this Pascal's cart rolling.
But actually, you come up to... as soon as you pass it, you actually come up to 2 rides. One of them is funny because one of them is Casey's favorite ride, and the other one is kind of the ride that we both really do not like. I wouldn't use hate, but yeah. I would definitely use we really don't like.
Yeah, I won't say hate because we do it if there's downtime or if there's not a long line. But
so let's start with our lead favorite, and that's what we're talking about, and that is It's a Small World.
It's a Small World.
So if you guys have ever been to Disney World, or even Disneyland, you have most likely have ridden Small World.
Well, I mean, everybody knows the song because it's like, to me, it's like the song that will never end. It's just too much for me. But that being said, for nostalgia's sake, I get it. Like, my mom loves that ride, and I think it's because she went to Disney World as a kid, like with her mom, and that was like one of the things that they did, and so we always have to do it if we go with my mom. So, like, I get it, and there are people that absolutely love it, but it's just not for me.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I mean, so I'm not a huge fan of the ride, and it's not one of my go-tos. But I do have to say, like, off of the nostalgia part of it, I do love It's a Small World simply because of the nostalgia. And originally, the Small World was basically designed by Walt Disney and his Imagineers for the 1964 New York World's Fair. Basically, they came to Walt Disney and said, "Hey, do you want to do a bunch of stuff?" And he said, "Yes." So that's what he did. It's a Small World and Mr. Lincoln. Mm-hmm. So he did those 2 animatronics for that.
Now here,
event.
I will give credit where credit is due. I mean, it is an unbelievable feat for that time. I mean, to think of the amount of science and imagination that went behind it, I will give you that. Absolutely. It is unbelievable to think about that.
Well, you got to think about it. It has over 300 different animatronics in one ride.
I would believe that.
Which I think, if I remember right, I think that is the most animatronics in any Disney
it has to be.
Experience. So you have to think about it is that, and at 1964, well, actually before 1964, it was in about like late 1962 is when the planning started. That was actually a ton of, technology that wasn't really around. I mean, Walt created animatronics, so, I mean, as a nostalgia part of it, you have to give the ride its due respect.
Yes.
It's just definitely not one that we go on often.
Yeah.
If the wait is really short, we will.
And it typically is because the queue line is so fast because you can fit so many people on a boat. So it's usually not that long of a wait. But I am going to step in here. Ugh, I hate that I'm this person. The ride itself is essentially the same in both parks, but I think the facade of the It's a Small World building in Disneyland is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, it absolutely buries Walt Disney World.
Decorated for Christmas. It's just beautiful. You can't compare. There's no comparison, especially Walt Disney World. It's not. It's kind of actually tucked away. It fits in Fantasyland. It's fine. But when you've gone to Disneyland and you've seen that one, or if you haven't seen it, Google it because you can find some facade pictures. It's breathtaking. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. And when we went to Disneyland a couple of years ago, that was the thing that blew me away about that ride was the outside facade. Now also too is like they also had the outside, like where you get on the boats and you're on the little canals. There's part of the ride that's outside, which I thought was unbelievable. But the actual facade itself, like you said, is just
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's absolutely breathtaking.
And if you can see it at Christmas, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, and if you've never been to Disneyland to see it, go Google some pictures of it.
Yeah,
and just take a look, because I will have to say that that is probably one of the best things about the Disneyland version of it.
Yeah.
Besides that, it's not really our favorite ride.
Anyways, sorry to start off on a negative note, guys, but
on a positive note, we're going to go to Casey's most favorite ride, and that is Peter Pan's Flight.
Yeah, I love it. It's so cute.
You really introduced me to the Peter Pan's Flight,
right?
Which I thought was awesome because I never really went on it. It was one of those things that I just kind of was like, I just never had any reason to go on it. And then you were like, what? You got to do this.
You got to really pay attention and look down.
So that's what we did we went on the ride, and it was just it was amazing because just the first time, we kind of, we had everything underneath us. It was just so cool to kind of imagine flying above London and then Neverland, which I thought was really cool. And like I said, it was something I never really thought. And the craziest thing about that ride is that it's so simple, but it has one of the longest wait times of any ride. Consistent wait times at Disney World.
Yeah. So when I used to go to Disneyland in college, because I was in college out west, we used to go to Disneyland all the time, and that was how we ended our night because we could see the fireworks show whenever we wanted. So during the fireworks show, we would always run to Peter Pan and do Peter Pan. And that was the only time you could get in the queue line for less than 90 minutes. And now that they've redone the queue in Disney World, oh my God. We're talking all day. It was at 1:20.
It's 70 right now. And it is now 8:20 at night.
Yeah. And we couldn't get a fast pass for it. I would have used a fast pass on it, but we couldn't. So
it's probably one of the quickest fast pass seller outs, I guess you could say, sellouts that you can seller outs. But it's probably one of the quickest fast passes to go. Because I think there's been times that we've tried to get it, and they've already been gone for the whole day, and it's been, 30 days prior to our trip.
Yeah.
It's crazy how quick fast passes go for that. But it is such a fun ride. And, again, if you're into the classic Disney movies and you love that classic feel, the ride pretty much kind of brings you right into that classic feel of Peter Pan.
It's just wonderful. It's so much fun. And I remember one time going when we were in college, and some losers in another pirate ship, because that's what you get in a pirate ship, and you fly over London at one point, and there were some losers who had taken some pot out and were smoking pot, so they stopped the ride to get them off. But I was stuck right over London, and it was beautiful. I remember being in the pirate ship. I think I was with my friend Jordan, and we just sat there looking oh my God, have you ever seen that? Look how cool that is. So thank you to those losers who tried to smoke pot in Disneyland, because you're idiots. But it actually worked out for us, because it was really fun to sit there and actually pick out all the different places. And it was
I do have to say, I do like getting stuck on some rides because you really get to look at the details.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that with that ride especially, but other rides as well, that impresses me about Disney is just the attention to detail that they have. So that is really fun to do that. But Peter Pan's Flight is definitely one of our favorites.
Yes, do it for sure. But don't do it when I'm there, because then you're going to clog up the queue, guys.
Oh, it's up to 75 minutes in just that just the 2 minutes that we mentioned.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. I don't get it. But I get it at the same time.
By the way, does anyone else out there in the podcast or the listening world just sit there and go on your My Disney app all day and just check wait times?
Because we do it we'll be in the line at the grocery store and be like, hey, Big Thunder's only 20 minutes right now. We should go.
We're funny. Losers like that. But if you kind of jump just kind of right over, you kind of go to an area that I have to admit for the longest time, I thought it was the wrong nationality. And I'm talking about Pinocchio's Village House.
Yeah.
So Pinocchio's Village House is your really first true food experience inside Fantasyland.
Yeah. Coming from that direction.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for the longest time, I will admit it straight on here. For the longest time, I always saw Village Haus, Haus, house.
Yes.
Which is typically German. And I also saw Pinocchio and the Lederhosen, and I always thought it was German.
So we just assumed.
And then there was one time we went and looked at the menu to see what they had, and I'm like, wait a second. There's Italian food all over this menu.
Why is it paninis and pizzas?
And then it struck us that we were like, oh wait, it's Geppetto. Oh, it's Italian.
The story is from Italy.
Yeah. It just threw me off because I'm so used to, how like Village Haus being German. But that is your first true food experience, by the way, and it is Italian.
Yes.
Based off the movie location. But yeah, they got everything there, from your different gelatos and, your lemon sorbets, all the way to your chicken parm pastas, chicken parm sandwiches, margarita flatbreads, pepperoni flatbreads, all those type of stuff. And their prices are actually fairly decent. I mean, for your, margarita flatbread, it's only $12. Which actually really isn't a bad price.
Which, if you've listened to us before, we do like quick pickups and we just split things between the two of us. So that's something that, because we know we want to go pick something up around the corner, when we get to the top of the hill, we might just split a $12 flatbread. So great price to just split something and have a couple bites and go, okay, this was good. We took a picture. Let's move on.
Oh yeah.
So
and I think probably the biggest deal that I think you can get here, if I had to like pick a deal, would probably be their penne pasta with marinara. It is only $7.29.
Oh, wow.
And for Disney, that is like shopping at the dollar store. So it is extremely, extremely cheap. But yeah, the Pinocchio house, they do have lunch and they also have dinner. The only thing that's different on their dinner is they do strombolis. That's pretty much about it.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It does sound good. But they do strombolis on their dinner, which is pretty much the only difference. And it is typically one of those $15 and under for both lunch and dinner. So it's also a cool place. Now, one thing I want to point out that we totally forgot to point out on some other ones is that Disney Now, if you use the app, Disney Now at most of their dining locations actually does a order food, where you could actually go onto the app and you could order the food that you want and actually go in and just pick it up. Which I wish, well, actually we tried that with Casey's.
Yeah, you can't do it at like really heavy meal times. Yeah. Like we tried to do it for dinner while we were standing in line at Casey's because we stood in line for 45 minutes and I thought, let me go on it. If I just order it on the app, then because they have a quick pickup line that you can just jump right in. But it said that you couldn't do it at that time. So my assumption is don't do it at like heavy peak meal times. Yeah,
but Pinocchio's Village Haus is one of them. So if you're going to go eat there, you could always order ahead and have it ready for when you're going to be there. But if you kind of pop right over to the center, as you kind of run into Prince Charming's Regal Carousel. And if you've, you got to know what the castle or the carousel is. I mean, the carousel is an iconic piece of Fantasyland.
Of course.
It's themed after Cinderella, Prince Charming's carousel. It's really fun. Especially if you have kids, it's a fun excuse to get up or get off your feet a little bit.
It's never really that long of a wait time too, because they can fit so many people.
Yeah. Currently it's 10 minutes. So it's one of those like quick things, especially if you're trying to do something with the kids. And, there's actually something really fun that's right outside, but the last couple times we've been there, it hasn't been in there, but it's really famous at Disneyland is the Sword in the Stone.
Oh yeah.
Right in the front of the carousel, basically between like the carousel and the castle, they have a sword in the stone based off of the movie. And I know that like throughout the day, people can go up and they can try to take it out. And for most part, not many people get it out, and then some super strong person ends up getting it.
It's a really cool photo op too.
It is a cool photo op, to
get the kids pulling it out.
But the last two times we were there, it wasn't in the Rock at Disney World. So I don't know if they took it out permanently.
Where does the sword go? Where do you I don't know. Wonder.
Well, maybe they had to. I don't know. Maybe they had to do something to it. But the last two times we went there were spread out fairly wide or long, and it wasn't there both times. So I don't know if they took it out of Disney World permanently, but we did get to see it when we went to Disneyland.
I feel like they would have taken the stone out too, though, if they were taking it out completely.
Yeah, maybe.
Or they would have at least filled in like the little slot.
That's possibly.
I don't know. I'm just curious what they're doing with it.
Yeah, but and I haven't heard anything about it. So if anyone has heard anything about what happened to the sword at Disney World, please let us know on social media. Now, obviously, the castle itself is just a gorgeous centerpiece. It's a centerpiece to the fireworks show. But there actually is some cool stuff inside that a lot of people don't know. One, if you're just looking for just a really good photo op, inside the tunnel of the castle that basically goes between Main Street USA and Fantasyland, is some gorgeous mosaic tile work.
Yes, beautiful.
And it's basically it's based off of Cinderella's story. So you got mosaic tile work with the Prince Charming, Cinderella, and all that stuff on it. And it is just beautiful just to even look at. And there are some hidden Mickeys in there. So if you're looking at hidden Mickeys, you can definitely go check that out. But it's really cool. But one of the big things that's inside there is the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. Mm-hmm. And I've talked about it in the the Disney Springs episode. And if you have a small child that is wanting to get all dolled up, the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is a great place to go and get it done. Now, it's not the cheapest. I don't know what their prices are because you have to call.
They get you.
They get you. You have to call to make reservations, but they don't really put their price on anything. I know you can find out what their price is online because other people that have had their kids do it have posted it. But I'm not sure the exact price of it. But if
can you put a price on your child's happiness?
No, I mean, honestly, I don't think you really can because it's. I mean, I guess you can. $500 might be a little excessive, but I don't think.
No way, it's $500.
No, I think it's somewhere around 60 if I remember the last time I saw
it. So,
but it's a really cool thing for your daughter to go and get dress up like a princess, and they go and do her hair. They go and do her hair, and they sprinkle pixie dust in her hair afterwards. And I think that one of the coolest things, though, is that after they get all dolled up, they walk around the park. Cast members throughout the park will bow to them, and call them
princess.
Good morning, princess, or whatever it may be. I just think it's a really cool thing for a child to do because you are in one of the most magical places in the world.
For sure, but it's like a one-time thing. As annual pass holders, we're not going to do it every time we go.
No, she can wear her dress. She can wear a dress every time we go. That's fine. But we're only doing the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique once.
Yeah.
And then if you really want to kind of, do the experience right, you can do Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique and also get a reservation across the way at Cinderella's Royal Table.
Yes.
Which is a really awesome dining experience inside the castle. So you get it looks like you're in a royal hall of Cinderella's castle, which I think is really cool. And not only do you meet Cinderella, but you meet all the other princesses. You meet Belle and Sleeping Beauty or Aurora. So it's just a really cool experience if you have a young child that wants to do it. Where do you go for? Oh, back to Sir Mickey's. Sir Mickey's is a character meet and greet.
Yes.
You can meet Tinkerbell. You can meet Mickey. I think there's a couple others, but once again, our stance on meeting characters. Well, Casey's stance. My stance is that I would probably wait in every line just to get a photo with everybody.
And you can go by yourself and wait in line all day to meet the characters. That sounds so fun.
Well, actually, right next to that is actually our we kind of talked about. I said I liked the dessert, and you said you didn't.
Okay, let's talk about this for a second. So when we went just a couple weeks ago, we went right on the end of Halloween and beginning of Christmas season. So we got there on the 31st because we wanted to see the last of the Halloween and see them transform over to Christmas. So the day we got there, they had the Maleficent ice cream cone, which was a black ice cream cone with a lime. They're calling it ice cream. It was a sorbet with chocolate horns. Okay, very cool. Very, very cool for a photo op. I'm not a lime sorbet kind of person. I would be a lime ice cream person, but I'm not like a sour tart, not for ice cream. Anyways, that's just personal. Anyways, so the next couple days when we went back to go check it out, it was the Tinkerbell ice cream. Again, it's a sorbet. Stop calling it ice cream. But a green cone with this lime sorbet with white chocolate wings, and like they literally sprinkled glitter on it. It was so pretty. Oh, and cotton candy. Green
I was about to say
candy.
green apple cotton candy.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
So
that looked like her like little tutu around it. We have a picture. It's up on my Instagram. I think it might be on Eric's Instagram.
It's on Explore the Mouse Instagram, so it's all over it.
Yeah, it was a great photo op, and it looked so cute. It just was not like, you know, when you're super excited for ice cream and then you bite into it and you're like, this tastes like I'm eating a lime, which I do.
See, here's the thing. You know me, I love key lime pie. I love that key lime flavor. So this to me was amazing. You know, the only thing I walked around though eating this thing, and I'm like, is my mouth glittery? Because I mean, there was literally
so
like
pretty, but there was
edible
so much
glitters
glitter
inside or on this thing. And I was like, is my mouth glittery now? But it was definitely a good treat. And I haven't heard anything bad about it from a lot of other people that I have got it.
I'm not saying it was terrible.
Yeah, I thought it was delicious. I mean, I ate most of it because Casey didn't like it.
It's just a personal preference thing. So I'm not saying it was done poorly or it was like disgusting. No, it was just personal preference for me. I didn't love it, but
I thought it was pretty good. And then also right next there too is another eatery. You could do it at the Friar's Nook, and pretty much it's exactly what you think. It's everything pretty much fried. No, it's not the Fried Nook. It's the Friar's Nook. But they do have like fried Twinkies, which I didn't know about.
Disappointed we missed that one.
You know, but they have like loaded buffalo chicken tots and, you know, all these other different things, bratwurst and tots, and pretty much a lot of tater tots. So they should call it the Tater Tot Shops.
Sounds like, no, it fits better as the Friar's Nook.
But the Friar's Nook, you could definitely go and get what you need there. And then what else? Let's go right across the way to probably one of the best roller coasters. Oh,
well, real quick, I think we just skipped over. I think Mickey's PhilharMagic is there.
Oh, we did. I'm sorry.
Just real quick. It's cute, fun, pop in. Okay.
Mickey's PhilharMagic, if for anyone that doesn't know, it's a 3D. It's a 3D like movie experience.
Yeah.
With like Mickey and Donald and other characters, and I've gone in it a couple times, and it actually is really fun.
It's great to get out of the heat, sit down. It
it's
keeps
just
the kids busy.
Yeah, it's a really cool. It's a really cool show, and I remember I rolled my eyes the first time I was asked if I wanted to go in. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, let's go. And then I sat in, and it was actually really fun. But give it a try. But let's go over to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, just because it is probably one of the greatest roller coaster rides.
Such a great ride.
It took us a while to actually ride the mine train, though,
because the queue line was crazy.
Currently, it's 85 minutes. And
honestly, that's not bad.
It's not bad
for that ride,
because it's normally like 90 to 120 typically is when we look.
Now, when it first came out, it was around our honeymoon, remember? And it was like
it opened up just before
200 and something minutes. Like there was no way we were going to get on it.
No, we were only in the park for one day because it was just a stop off on our honeymoon before we went on our cruise. So we were like, we're not going to waste our whole day standing in line for this one ride. We'll come back, and we did, and it's amazing. It is probably one of the coolest roller coaster concepts that I've been on in a while. And if you haven't rode the ride yet, the coolest thing about this ride is that you're like in a mine car, okay? Yeah. And the mine car, like an actual mine car, basically sways left to right as you're riding the ride. So not only are you like going up and down hills around curves, but this cart is like swinging. Yeah. And then throughout the ride, they have like these propulsion areas where it just like jets you. Yeah. Similar to kind of the Rock and Roller Coaster ride, where it just kind of throws you and sends you really quickly. Same thing with this, is there's a couple areas that just kind of jets you off, and it is just one of the coolest rides. Now, a couple tips and tricks that we can kind of give to you. One of my biggest ones is ride this at night. Yes, definitely. This ride is probably the most amazing ride at night outside of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Yeah, you get some great views, and the ride itself is really, really cool. Because there's a lot of cool lights in the ride too. Yeah, you know. And then the other tip is actually, it's another nighttime one, is if you guys are there for like a bunch of days and you guys could afford to miss the fireworks show, go do this ride during the fireworks show because the wait time just drops immensely.
We walked onto it.
Yeah, we had a fast pass actually.
But then we came off and we were right back on.
Well, that's what I was saying. We had a fast pass right before the fireworks. I think it was like an 8:45 fast pass.
Yeah.
And we got off the ride and we came back on. It was like 15-minute wait, which was absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So we did it like right away again. And it is just so cool. And the cool thing that I love about it is similar to like Haunted Mansion. Is that if you're in a long queue...
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth.
There is so... Oh, here, I'll let you... Go ahead. You tell them about it.
No, the queue line is just very interactive. So they have a lot of things that you can do, kind of like Haunted Mansion. We touched on that last week. But it's really fun. And it's not just for kids. Like, I was sitting there playing with some, like, 9-year-old last time. Like, playing the games. It was really fun. They're really cool. They did a good job.
Yeah, and it's just a really immersive thing, and it's really cool because they got the 7 dwarves that are all throughout the queue, and similar to the Frozen ride in Epcot, like they have like their projected faces, projection face, and it's just a really cool ride and really great experience. Let's kind of backtrack a little bit to the left,
okay,
and then let's go over to basically Belle and the Beauty and the Beast in Gaston's area.
Yeah.
There's probably, and this is, a lot of people have talked about it, is that this is there's a lot of mixed reviews that I've heard. More good than bad. And I'm talking about Be Our Guest.
Oh, yeah.
Be Our Guest, I've heard more good than bad. I've heard some people say it's not worth the money. And then I've heard some people that say it's just the experience alone is just worth it. And Be Our Guest is inside the Beast Castle, and you basically have like your classic kind of like French style food, but they're known for their gray stuff.
Yeah, which is a dessert.
It
comes from the song Be Our Guest.
Just like just like the actual movie where they said, try the gray stuff, it's delicious. They have gray stuff.
Supposedly it is.
Actually, I have everything that I've read said the gray stuff is worth. It
looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it looks delicious. I mean, it pretty much looks like whipped cream.
Yeah, it does.
It looks like gray whipped cream with like pearls, like candy.
Almost,
pearls
I imagine them to be kind of like the ones we had at Enzo's Hideaway.
Absolutely,
the whipped cream. Yeah.
No, I definitely agree, and I think
kind
the pearls
like a little crunchy pearl.
I think the pearls are probably the same too, and they do breakfast, lunch, and dinner there too. Which another tip, kind of like Crystal Palace, is that if you want to do the breakfast there, you'll be able to get into the parks a little bit earlier than the gates opening. Yes. So you actually are already in the parks. But
book that ahead of time because we have tried 30 days out several times because we usually just go, such short advance. So book it ahead of time because we've tried like 30 days out before and there's no times left. So, but if we go, we definitely have said we would do it for breakfast.
They got escargot.
Ooh.
I love escargot.
I saw for breakfast they have a croque monsieur.
They do. They have a croque monsieur for breakfast, which I'm really, really excited about.
Sorry for the commotion, guys. The dogs are trying to get up on the couch.
We are. This is a real life podcast, and we have a really needy dog. So if you're listening to this and you hear some banging in the background, that's him getting up and down off the chair next to us. But definitely give it a try if you're looking for a good meal, because I've heard nothing but good things about Be Our Guest. And they have a really cool room, too, where you can go in and you actually can see the rows.
Oh,
which is really cool. Yeah, it's like...
worth it for itself.
Yeah. And it's really cool. And then right next to that, you got Enchanted Tales with Belle, which is just a really cool immersive experience with Belle and Lumiere, which you could actually hear the story of Beauty and the Beast straight from Belle's mouth.
We've said several times that we're going to do it. We just haven't made the time.
Yeah.
Because it is a show, there's obviously preset times. So I feel like every time we walk by, it's like another 30 minutes. I'm like, I don't want to wait.
Yeah. And while you're over in that area, too, you cannot not pass up Le Fou's Brew.
Oh, my goodness. So, a little up the hill is Gaston's Tavern?
Yeah, it's Gaston's Tavern.
Yes. And they serve this drink called Le Fou's Brew. You can get it in a souvenir glass. You can get it in like a beer stein or in a little pretty Belle cup. We just get it in the plastic cup. We split one.
We did the Stein one time. The first time we had it, we
Yeah.
did the Stein just so we had a little collectible, which is probably in the garbage now. But we just do the other one because it's just shy of $6
Yeah,
for
it's
the
a
normal
great
one.
price.
It's like $13 for the souvenir one.
It is so good. So it's like a frozen apple juice, which now I want frozen apple juice. It's like a frozen apple juice, and then they kind of put like a pump of marshmallow syrup in it, which sounds silly, but it's so good. And then there's this not even whipped, it's like a passion fruit foam.
Passion fruit mango.
Yeah, on top, which the first time we were like, I don't know that I want that. I might leave the passion fruit off or leave the marshmallow out. Like, we weren't sure.
Which just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like the toasted marshmallow and apple juice, those two kind of go together. You think about it. You think about fall. But then you put passion fruit mango foam on top of that. And in your mind, you're like, that does not sound appetizing at all.
But do it.
But
It's so good.
the first sip was literally, I was like, I want another one.
It is so good. It's
Which
so
I think we
refreshing.
did. I think we did get to that. I think we went back.
We
Like
probably did.
I think later on we were walking past. I'm like, I'm going to get another one.
Yeah, it's so refreshing. It's delicious.
They have food there too, but we really
They have
haven't-
really good chocolate croissants.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did try the chocolate
Yeah.
croissants and the macaroons.
I would skip the French macaroons.
Yeah.
But I'm a snob when it comes to French macaroons. So
And they got giant cinnamon rolls.
yeah.
Did you remember those things?
those cinnamon rolls like the size of your head.
They were huge.
But the chocolate croissants are big and they are delicious.
and they're only $4, which is a great thing. Like, so if you're in the park early and you haven't had breakfast yet, we always try to tell people like, always, stop in maybe Starbucks or something.
Yeah.
But if you want to beat the crowds on Main Street, shoot
Yeah, you can go
straight to
straight
the other
back.
side of the castle, and you can go there and get a chocolate croissant for breakfast, which is really delicious. But and then you could also meet Gaston right outside, which Gaston is probably one of the funniest.
He's so great.
Characters.
Actually, this last trip was like the first time I didn't see him there.
Oh, you know why? They moved him.
Oh.
Yeah,
Where is
I
he?
didn't. They actually moved him on the other side of the store, so closer to Little Mermaid.
Oh, okay.
You know that little cart?
Yes.
All right, they moved him on the back side of that cart.
Oh, okay.
So he upgraded from the bathrooms to back behind the cart.
He is hilarious. He's very funny if you ever have a chance. Even if you don't want to wait in line to take a picture with him, like just watching him, how he interacts with other people, he's so funny.
And he's a character that doesn't stay in the same spot.
Yeah,
like,
he can move around.
He'll roam around like basically the little square that Gaston's Tavern and everything is in. So you might see him over at his meet and greet, and then 2 minutes later you might see him over by the fountain messing with people. So
There's a couple of characters in Fantasyland that are allowed to roam around, like the evil stepmother and Drusilla and Anastasia are allowed to move around as well. You can usually catch them by the I don't know, I think those are called like turrets.
the
by
turrets.
the carousel.
Yeah, they're like right behind the carousel. There's after like with the remodel they did in 2009, they put like some kind of castle turret type things up, and you could always see them right there. And
they're funny too.
Yeah,
So
they're
another
really-
good little tidbit. But yeah, they're not like required to stand in one spot. They kind of move around with you, so which is kind of fun. So
let's go to Little Mermaid real quick, but let's talk about that amazing. Amazing dish over at the snack stand.
Oh
now,
yeah, the like mystery carts.
Yeah,
sitting
there's like a mystery cart across from the entrance of Little Mermaid that not many people know about, and since it's on the backside of Seven Dwarfs Mine Train,
Yes.
it's not really a lot of people don't really know about it.
Yeah.
But they have some really awesome things there, like the Mermaid Donut,
Yes.
which is a great photo
I'm
op.
sad I didn't get that this time.
Yeah,
It was
but
so full of sugar.
It is, but it's got like this really awesome white chocolate mermaid tail that comes out the
Yeah.
center. It's just really cool. And if you do type any type of blogging or Instagramming, it's just a great photo op opportunity to have that donut.
Sometimes we pick our snacks based off of what photos we can get.
Oh, we totally do. And if
Not
you
gonna lie, guys.
I mean, if you looked at it, we did the citrus swirl this last trip just so we can take a picture of the citrus swirl with the sign, which is pretty cool. But they have that sweet Thai chili shrimp, which is something that just completely baffles me to find at a little quick service cart.
Yeah, it's kind of random.
Because you think about quick service carts, you think of the churros and all that other stuff. You don't really think of sweet Thai chili shrimp.
Yeah.
And it's a vegetable coleslaw or a vegetable slaw with a ginger vinaigrette, poached shrimp with salt and lemon tossed in chili mayo garnished with black sesame seeds.
Yum.
That doesn't sound like anything you typically get at a cart.
Especially not at one that serves a donut And what are they call it the witch's brew. They have like a frozen lemonade.
Yep.
And you can get different flavor. You get like a watermelon flavor or...
Yeah, so they have a witch's frozen brew, which is frozen lemonade and frozen Coke, swirled with Monin cherry, Granny Smith apple, watermelon, and red passion fruit syrup.
Yeah. There were a ton of kids. Well, yeah, I think you can pick like a different flavor too if you want.
No, because that's all they have there. So
no,
the witches...
but I'm saying you can pick just one. You don't.
Oh
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
get, like, the whole mix.
Yeah,
because there was that little girl when we were waiting in line for Ariel.
Yeah.
She had just the lemonade with watermelon, and it looked really good.
Yeah, so yeah, you can mix and match if you don't want something in there, but it's just a really cool stand. And like I said, you're right across from Ariel, which typically has a wait time. So why not get a snack or a drink and go wait in Little Mermaid, which, by the way, is one of our probably one of our favorite kind of like non.
Yeah, it's like a kiddie ride. I mean, I'd consider it a kiddie ride.
Oh, it's totally a kiddie ride.
Yeah. But we do love it. We do it every time.
We get some weird looks when we're in line
just the two of us.
because we have like no kids, and people are like, "Oh, you don't have any kids? Okay, cool."
Yeah, so our trip is going better than yours.
Yeah,
Dad.
which this last time the line was kind of.
It was weird. I feel like that queue often moves quickly, but I don't know. There must have been some people having trouble getting on and off because the queue line, we actually got out of it and left, and we were not the only group. We were probably the fifth or sixth group to get out of line.
Well, they said the wait time was only 40 minutes.
No, less than.
Or was it 30? It was 35 minutes. And then we got in and we're like, that's not bad, 35 minutes. And then we came to a standstill where we barely moved. And then I looked on the app and it was up to 45 minutes.
Yeah. And we usually know, like, we kind of have points in the line where we know, like, okay, if we're actually standing here, then it's actually only 20 minutes from this point. Like, we know enough. And we were not at the 35-minute point.
No. And we got and we had a fast pass elsewhere, so we jumped out of the line so we could hit our fast pass, which I think was Jungle Cruise.
And then I think we went and got a fast pass for Little Mermaid right after that.
We did. Yeah. And we pretty much, and then we walked right onto Little Mermaid like a couple hours later. Yeah. But the Little Mermaid's it is a fun ride.
Yeah.
It's a fun ride just to kind of get off your feet. It's, if you guys have been on, the Epcot ride, Finding Nemo.
Yes, it's the same concept.
It's the same concept. You get inside of a shell and the doors close and you just basically sit there as it brings you through a show. Mm-hmm. And it is a really fun, like experience.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
And we love the Little Mermaid, especially you. Yeah. So
I love the Little Mermaid. One thing I noticed this time, and I actually didn't point it out to you, I thought this was really cool. So it's not all like a TV screen or anything. It's all like they have actual animatronics. And all of the Ariels of the under the water scenes, her hair is like this smooth plastic or whatever material they make her out of. And then when she goes to dry land, her hair it's actually a wig. So it was like a curled wig. I know. Because at first I was like, well, wait a minute, her hair doesn't match. Like, that really bothers me. And then I realized, it's because she's dry and out of the water. They gave her like definitive curls with this wig, where the under the water scenes, she has this it's like a hard shell of like hair because it has to look like it's moving. I just thought that was so cool. The attention to detail.
I have never noticed that.
Okay, so next time we go, I'll have to point it out to you again.
I have never noticed that. That is one of those attention to detail things that I absolutely love about Disney, But Little Mermaid's definitely a must-do ride.
Yeah, it's such a great ride.
Some of the other key points inside of... hey, by the way, mine train's up to hour 15. Some of the other key some of the key rides that are in there that we don't really do is the tea party, the teacups.
Oh, we just get too sick.
They're iconic and they're amazing. But last time we went on it, after we got off, we both looked at each other, and I think
that was our honeymoon.
It was our honeymoon. Which,
I don't know what
3
it
years
was.
Ago.
I don't know what it was, but we both got off when I said never again. I can't do it.
We looked at each other and we were both like green.
Like halfway through the ride, we were like, I don't know how we're going to make it.
I think we said like, let's
The
just keep
rest
eye
of this
contact
ride.
with each other.
Yeah, we were trying to like just look at each other and hopefully not. And then that just made us sicker.
We just look like we look like creepy honeymooners that were just
Yeah.
staring at each other's eyes. But no, we were just trying not to throw up.
But Teacups is an iconic ride. You don't wait very long at all because they can fit a couple people in at a time. It's a great ride.
Yeah.
Great photo op. Very fun.
And then Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is a fun ride.
Yes, another great little kiddie ride.
It used to be the former Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yes.
Which you can actually kind of get that sense when you're going through that ride. That it's
Yeah.
still like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yeah, if you've ever been on it, you totally know, like, oh, this was the track where...
And especially
I got
because we
to
did
this
Disneyland.
part.
We did Disneyland and Disney World all in the same year.
Yes.
So we got to ride Mr. Toad's at Disneyland and Winnie the Pooh at Disney World, and it
Yeah.
literally had like the same type of feel to it.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about, and it's not really technically part of Fantasyland. It's kind of its own area, but it's
Kind
so
of a
small.
misfit, but yeah, we call it Fantasyland.
Now, basically the main marquee ride of this area used to be in Fantasyland, right behind the carousel. So it fits. And that's Storybook Circus.
Yes.
Now, so when they did the remodel back in 2009, or actually, sorry, 2009 is when they announced it. I think it was like 2010 they started the remodel. They took away Mickey's Toontown from Walt Disney World, which has actually gone from both parks, I
I
think,
miss
now,
you,
isn't it?
Toontown.
I think
Yeah,
Disneyland
I think
took it
they
away
just
for
took it out of
they took it
Disneyland.
away for Galaxy's Edge, I believe.
Yeah.
So there is no more Toontown, but so Mickey's Toontown was used to be there, and now it's Storybook Circus, which is a straight up circus. And you got the Dumbo ride, which one cool thing about the Dumbo ride is that they actually doubled it up. It used to only be one, now they actually have two.
That's not even the coolest thing about the Dumbo ride. You didn't get to go on it with me when
No.
I took my nephew a while back, and I took him on the Dumbo ride. In the middle of the queue line is an indoor like fun park. There's like a ball pit and there's a slide and there's all these things, and you can sit and wait as long as you want.
Yeah.
And then you get back in line. It's really it's great for the kids. It's great, and it's inside, so like you can go beat the heat and just go sit there for a little bit.
Well, that
and
is
then
one
jump back
area.
in
That
line.
is one area when our daughter is old enough that I definitely want to do now because
Yes.
you talked about how cool the queue was.
It is so cool. I just did not expect it. I just remember being like, oh, great, here we are. We're just going to get stuck in this big tent. And then all of a sudden it was like a ball pit and a slide and like all these fun things. I was like, wow, this is great.
And then the coup de grace was getting to ride Dumbo.
Yes.
So that's
that was
even
pretty
better.
fun too.
Right across from Dumbo is a really huge souvenir shop. Gigantic, and the cool thing about it is in the center of it, and a lot of people don't know this unless you really go in there, is in the middle is they actually have their own candy shop, similar to like Candy Cauldron or the confectionery on Main Street. They have their own candy shop, and they actually have people that are doing basically candy apples and stuff like that inside. It's really cool. So it's just a really cool place to go, and if you have kids, it's just a really cool area
It's
because
great.
they have
like the Barnstormer.
Yep, the Barnstormer, which is like a kid roller coaster
Yeah.
ride, which actually I've talked to people that have done the Barnstormer, and they said even as an adult, it's really fun.
Oh, yeah. And I think I would have been allowed to do it pregnant. It's not like crazy. No, I think you can.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm
we didn't
pretty
look.
sure you're
We
allowed
we
to.
really didn't look into it.
I'm pretty sure you're allowed to.
That's a possibility. But inside the middle during the summer, which I think is a really cool thing for the kids, is they have like a little splash pad.
Yes.
It's like a train. It's like a train station splash pad, and the kids can go there and cool off. And parents, if you want to, go ahead, cool off. And then there's another tent back there where they have the meet and greet.
Yes.
Which that meet and greet's actually pretty cool because right now they're doing. You can't really find the Seven Dwarves anywhere, but this place is the one place you can find the Seven Dwarves all together for a meet and greet.
Very cool.
Which is really cool because the only time you ever see the Seven Dwarves together is in the parade or at this meet and greet.
You want to know
which
my
is really
favorite
cool.
thing about the storybook?
What's that?
Right outside of it, there's a pretzel cart.
Yes.
Okay, so some people think
There
that
is.
like the pretzels are so easy to come by. They are not. They do not sell them at every cart.
No, they don't.
So this cart right outside Storybook Circus has pretzels with cheese dip and churros. So it's like the A++ primo cart.
I never thought about that. There's not like, well, I mean, there probably are, but there's not many places that we really haven't found.
We've asked several times, like, this can't be the only cart. And they'll say, like, oh, we're also serving them at this. But it's like, okay, 2 carts?
Well, they have them at the snack stand in Tomorrowland underneath Astro Orbiter.
Yes.
And then they have them at the cart by Storybook. So
right. That's 2 places.
And I think there's one right by Liberty Square. It's a stand right on, like right off Main Street area.
Yeah, we've gotten it there before. But
yeah.
This is my favorite one.
It is. It's cool.
Cheese cup.
Well, it is cool
pretzel.
too because you're coming out of the circus. You grab yourself a Mickey pretzel and you kind of go do your thing. So the last thing that I just want to point out to you guys is that this is also the one of the train station stops.
Yes.
So if you're looking to do like the Fantasyland and Tomorrowland area, you can actually get off here at Storybook, and that will be your actual stop.
Which, if you've heard us talk before, we totally recommend the train.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
It is so much fun. It's a ride in itself. It's a great way to get off your feet, a fun thing for the kids because it's interactive, and it's just a really great way to see the parks from a different perspective.
And there's some cool things that are like in the woods off the train tracks that you can't see from the normal park.
Yes.
Like they have really cool like Indian statues.
That's what I'm saying. It's interactive. Like it's not like you're just sitting on a little train.
No,
like,
it's just really cool.
It's very fun.
And again, Walt loved trains. That was like one of his like biggest loves in life was trains. So to kind of ride something that Walt wanted at his parks.
Yeah.
Well,
at some point we'll talk about the one in Disneyland because there's an even better piece of nostalgia in the one in Disneyland. But we'll get to that when we do a Disneyland episode. So
yes, but that brings us to the end of Fantasyland.
We did it.
I'm excited, and that means we only have one more park before we are finished with the Magic Kingdom.
Woohoo! And then we kind of move on to some other things for a little bit.
I'm really excited to move on to some other things. I don't think we'll ever do like a big park like this all in one, like all in a series. I think this will be like, because I'm really excited to talk about so many cool things that Disney has to offer.
Yeah. Well, and there's just so many things going on right now, so it's
absolutely
a great time to talk about
2019 is going to be unbelievable for Disney.
Yeah. We are very excited.
Yeah, it is going to be, and the fact to get annual pass memberships and to be able to go experience 2019 at Disney is just going to be awesome because it is just, it's already looking to be an amazing year.
Yes.
So, and it's Mickey's 90th the whole year, so that's the cool part.
Yes.
Anyways, so that brings us to the end of this episode. We want to thank you so much for listening in and supporting us on all the social media sites. Go check us out on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And also check us out at explorethemouse.com, where you can find everything from our blogs to our schedules to pictures from our trips, everything.
And our personal Instagrams are on there, everything.
Yep. So you can find all that.
Thank you guys for listening every week and for sharing, too. Every share helps us out so much. So we appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Have a great week.